All right, so let's take a look at the reference list. Now, the reference list is a tactic. It is not a fundamental, you must do this in order to do the inspired sale. It is absolutely a tactic, but it's a very valuable tactic, and it's one that I hope that you'll see the value in. So you've had your setup call. That went extremely well. And then you got in your little mobile showroom and you drove over to the customer's house. You had a great warm up with the customer, learned all sorts of wonderful things that you never knew before. You use those wonderful transition questions to get you from step one to step two. And now you know that this customer is getting 3 estimates. Okay, good. That's what they told you as an objection. So now you've walked around the space with the customer. You figured out what the subfloor is and what what all the particulars are about what's going to happen with the project, and you found out exactly what they're looking for. So the reference list is technically it's part of step two, but it truly is a transition to get you to step three. So the reference list is going to happen right at the end of step two as you lean into step three. So let's take a look at what the reference list is and what it does. So the whole point of the reference list is to create, let's say, to turn a cold lead into a warm referral. So let's assume for a moment that you had a project that you needed to do. And, maybe it's I don't know, maybe you're going to put a deck on the back of your house. So you've decided that you're going to spend the money and you're going to buy a deck. If you went out online and you found 3 or 4 different companies that did deck work, I don't know, you might read the reviews, you might see what's out there, but you still don't feel 100% behind any of them until you have a trusted friend that tells you, hey, you know what? I used this company. They built my deck and they did a fabulous job. Now, let's say in one hand, you've got 3 or 4 names of companies that you found online, you Googled, you did some research. These seem like they're okay, but in this hand, you've got a company that your friend told you did a great job for them because you had an opportunity to talk to somebody. Well, this is what the reference list is doing. It is giving people the opportunity to talk to actual customers. It is the best way to turn a cold appointment into a warm lead. So it moves you from this hand, where you're just one of 3 or 4 companies that maybe somebody found online, and it moves you over to this hand, where now somebody has attested to what you're going to do for them. So this is what a typical reference list looks like. Okay, this is mocked and made up, but it's you and a customer. It's not a picture of the floor. It's not a picture. It's not like this landscape picture of the great floor. It is truly pictures of smiling faces, happy faces, right? You've got the name, the city, the phone number there. You can modify this slightly if you want to, but this is a great format. There are questions down at the bottom. Did Floor Coverings International do everything they said they would do? Did they clean up? And if you were to do it all over again, would you choose Floor Coverings International? Okay. So this gives your customer the opportunity to actually talk to other customers. Could they text? Well, sure, they could. And frankly, you're going to have a lot of people that don't answer their phone if they don't know the number. Okay, so you can inform your customer, hey, look, sometimes they don't answer right away. If you'll text them, they'll return the call. Perfect. So how is it that I set up the reference list? So I've gone through my inspection, right? So let's think about where we are. We're standing in the upstairs hallway. I've gone through the inspection. I've had a chance to see what the customer wants. In my mind, I know how I'm writing this proposal. I know what boards I'm going to pull out of the van. And so I turn to the customer and say, I'm going to go spend a few minutes measuring the space, and I'm going to pull some samples from the mobile showroom. While I do that, could I get you to do me a favor? Okay, well, the customer is never going to say, no, I won't do you a favor. They're either going to say, sure, I'll do something for you, or they'll say, well, it depends on what it is, right? But nobody's just going to flat out say no. All right. The reason I like to set it up this way is because I'm telling the customer, I'm about to do something for you. Will you do something for me? Right. So I just set it up this way. I'm going to go back through the spaces and I'm going to measure everything. And when I get finished, I'm going to go out to the van and I'm going to pull some sample boards. While I'm doing that, could I get you to do me a favor? This is a list of some of our customers. I would love for you to give you the opportunity to talk to some people that have done business with Floor Coverings International and have walked through our process, please give these people a call, ask them anything you want to ask. And if you don't know what to ask, there's some questions down at the bottom of the page. Did Floor Coverings International do everything they said they were going to do? Did we clean up? And if they had to do it all over again, would they still choose Floor Coverings International? And for every person that you talk to, I'm going to give you $50 off of your project. That could be 50, 100, even $300 off. Will you do that for me? Okay. So what does this look like? Again, this is not a script that you have to memorize. This happens to be the way that I walk through it. You'll notice that it's got the elements. Would you do me a favor? So I'm getting a commitment, right? I'm asking them, would they do it? I give them information. I give them an incentive at the end. So it's all right here. This is a good format, but it doesn't have to be word for word. The more you do it, the easier it is to do. Yes, you're going to have some people that don't want to call the reference list. Yes, you're going to have some people that it feels uncomfortable for them. But I will tell you this, if you have that customer that tells you, well, I'm still checking you out, this is the best way for them to check you out, to absolutely give them a chance to talk to other customers that have been through the process. Now, is this reference list just a group of people, your 6 best customers that always have great things to say about you? No, it's not. As a matter of fact, the one that's up here at the top left, I actually want this one because this is the first one everybody's going to call. I want this one to be somebody that we had a problem with, and then we resolved the problem, because they're going to be the best reference. When they tell somebody, yeah, they came in and they made a mess, but you know what? When it was all said and done, everything was perfect. Everything was great. And yes, I would absolutely go through that with them again. Okay. This isn't the list of my 6 best customers. This is a list of 6 customers. And honestly, if somebody's had a problem that we resolved, where I want them on this list is I absolutely want them up here in the top left-hand corner. Okay, so where do you start? You guys are brand new. How do I get a reference list? Well, if you're a design associate, you could go to your franchisee, you could go to your boss and say, look, give me a list of all the customers that we did business with a year ago or 6 months ago. And you could do what I like to call a quality check. You could call the customer and say, hi, this is Arlen from Floor Coverings International. And sometimes we like to just check in on people 6 months, 9 months, a year after they've had their floors done and just see how everything's going. Would it be okay if I stopped by Tuesday afternoon? Okay. So you show up Tuesday afternoon, you walk the space with the customer. They're absolutely dumbfounded that somebody has come back to check on the floor. I mean, there's nobody that does this. So now you get a chance to ask them, hey, I'm new to the company. Give it to me straight. When they did this floor, did they do everything they said they were going to do? And did they clean up? If you had to do it all over again, would you choose Floor Coverings International? So what am I doing? I'm simply going through the reference list questions because I want to know, would this person be a great reference for me? Okay. Maybe there's a problem on the floor. You know what? Maybe there's a transition piece that keeps coming loose and it's an annoyance. Okay, well then get it fixed. I mean, for a few bucks, what it takes to get it fixed, all of a sudden you've got a customer for life, because nobody else would ever dream of coming back to see what's there on the floor. Oh my gosh, that's worth its weight in gold. I almost want that to happen. Not really. I don't want somebody to have a problem, but my gosh, if I happen to do a quality check and find something, oh, what a beautiful opportunity it is to fix something for somebody and have a customer for life. All right. So if I go back and do quality checks, or if a brand new design associate, you go and do quality checks, what a great way to get in, to meet people, and then to be able to take a picture with them and get them on your reference list. It's sometimes possible to get neighboring franchisees to let you do the same thing. Now, that's a little bit trickier, and sometimes your neighbor will let you do that, and sometimes they won't. Another way that you can create a reference list without having any experience, and if you're a brand new franchise owner, you don't have a database, you don't have people you can go back to, and it's what I call a character reference list. So you would absolutely have to change the questions at the bottom of the list, right? This is actually the approach that I took when I first started. I went back to former colleagues, I went back to people that I'd worked with before, and I said, now listen, you and I are going to take a picture, I'm going to put you on my reference list. But in no way do I want you to lie for me. I do not want you telling people that I did a flooring project for you because I haven't done one for you. Instead, the questions I changed at the bottom of the list and said, is Arlen Brady somebody that you would trust to do what he says he's going to do? And does Arlen follow through with commitments? And if you had a flooring project to do, is Arlen someone you would consider hiring? Notice I don't say that you would absolutely hire him, just is he somebody that you would consider hiring? All right, it's not as strong for sure as having actual customers that people can walk through and talk through and work through the process. But at least you're giving the customer somebody that they can talk to and have confidence in your ability and in your commitment to get the job done. So for me personally, the reference list is one of the, I don't know, it's one of the top 2 or 3 things that I would absolutely incorporate, but it is a tactic. Use it if you like it. If you don't like it, don't use it. But it is absolutely one of those things that if you find that you're struggling with your close rate, this is a tactic that I would 100% bring into the fold if you haven't been using it. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to working with you in the next module.